A U.S. Marine reflects on his military career and the far-reaching impact of the war on terrorism. He had hoped to be a war hero like his grandfather, but reality proved considerably different. Instead of experiencing glory and distinction, he was caught up in a series of needless and unreported attacks on innocent citizens. But the next mission he had to do in Afghanistan was going to be a turning point in his life. What's waiting for him so far at the border of Afghani people? For knowing all that's necessary to continue the story from the beginning. Those series of needless and unreported events made him feel like a despised villain, calling into doubt the purpose and morality of his acts. Despite his desire to be perceived as a decent human being, he suffers from self-perception, viewing himself as vile and spiritually wounded. The Marine recalls a time during the war when he was part of offensive troops sent to occupied areas, which resulted in horrific events such as being stranded in the aftermath of bombings, inhaling debris, and feeling suffocated. The survival instinct kicks in, and he wrestles with the perplexing subject of why he was spared despite his heinous deeds. Disillusionment and internal turmoil weigh heavily on his thoughts, adding to his mental and emotional tiredness. The Marine describes his terrifying experience of surviving a bombing while serving. He finds himself alone and fighting to traverse the dusty mayhem in the aftermath of the explosion, disoriented and hurt. He feels a terrible sense of despair and helplessness as he stumbles ahead, his foot twisted and his odds of survival dwindling. In this desperate situation, he comes across a bizarre monster that resembles a sand demon. With its red eyes and eerie atmosphere, the monster seemed to relish in the mayhem and suffering around it. The Marine feels it rescued him by allowing him to flee the dusty surroundings and seek shelter. However, he has the impression that the entity's goals were far from benign, as if it wished to prolong his agony and anguish. The encounter haunts him and adds to his survivor's guilt as he ponders the depths of his own transgression and the true nature of the thing that saved him. The Marine bears a huge burden of shame and self-hatred as a result of his activities during the war and the enormous misery he observed. He recalls the innumerable children he had to save, both living and dead, from collapsing buildings as a result of careless airstrikes. The Islamic State's cruelty really upsets him, and he questions the rationale behind such carnage. The Marine wrestles with the idea that if human life has no worth, then power is the only possible incentive for such atrocities. His experiences have shaken his faith in the fundamental worth of human life, leaving him mentally exhausted and haunted by survivor's guilt. The weight of his deeds and the horrors he observed weigh heavily on his conscience, causing him to feel profound guilt and contempt. The Marine had a terrifying meeting with a mystery man while on a deployment in Afghanistan. A sensation of great dread washed over him and his crew as they went undercover into a small portion of a community. A shadow moved across a nearby rooftop, observing their every move. They tightened their formation and proceeded with caution, alarmed. The streets became quieter and less busy as they traveled until they arrived in a dark and deserted alley. To their surprise, the dark figure that had been following them suddenly appeared in the middle of the road, blocking their passage. The stranger appeared to be a towering man with a menacing aura. However, as they concentrated their attention on his looks, they noticed something was seriously wrong. The man's eyes had vanished and horns erupted from his head. Behind him, the silhouette of wings gradually gained shape. The apparition dissolved into thin air before their eyes as though melting into the darkness. This experience has left an indelible mark on the Marine, and he is troubled by the image of this horned figure with wings. The unexplained nature of this sighting causes him to be terrified, and he frequently thinks about the true nature of the thing he witnessed during that operation in Afghanistan. The Marine's wife then shares a story passed down by her husband's friend, adding another dimension of mystery to their experiences. According to the buddy, there's a secret undersea research center in the Atlantic where doctors and scientists from several countries collaborate to study aquatic life forms. Despite being unrelated to the military, the facility is cloaked in secrecy, with every department in the Army dedicated to maintaining its security. According to the husband's acquaintance, the findings discovered in this facility are so astounding and potentially world-changing that revealing them would provoke a public frenzy. The friend approaches the Marine for assistance on a decision that's weighing heavily on him. He considers leaking information about the facility and its findings to the public, thinking that people should be aware of the existence of a greater entity and the potential power it possesses. The Marine, on the other hand, chooses not to participate in this decision and avoids the subject until his mission is over. This account intrigues the spouse, who suspects that her husband may have visited this underwater institution in person. Her skepticism is reinforced by her husband's erratic reactions, uncomfortable sleep, and refusal to reveal information about the things he saw there. While she tries to piece together the information her husband has revealed over the years, she recognizes that the truth about the facility and its studies remains elusive. The pictures he witnessed in the secret underwater facility haunt the husband, who has been badly affected by his experiences. The actual nature of these images is unknown because he refuses to tell his wife about them. Their influence on him, though, is visible in his restless sleep and repeated nightmares. The disturbing sights he witnessed at the facility continue to bother him, forcing him to stir and quiver while sleeping. His wife is left with unanswered doubts concerning the nature of these images and their impact on her husband's mental and emotional state. Despite her interest, she refrains from pressing him for further information, mindful of the risk of triggering post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. The husband's dread and reluctance to speak further about the pictures left her wondering about the atrocities he must have experienced, and she worries about the exact nature of his experiences. Despite her husband's wishes, the spouse decides to share her husband's experiences out of a strong desire for direction and recognition. She is aware of the enormous impact these meetings have had on her husband's physical and emotional health. Recognizing the necessity of seeking help, she turns to an open and public forum to tell their experience. Although she is aware that sharing their story may go against her husband's wishes, she believes it's critical to share their story. She aspires to connect with others who have had similar experiences or have knowledge about the enigmatic phenomenon they've encountered by opening up about their interactions. Recognizing the skepticism that surrounds such stories, she recognizes that some may dismiss their narrative as false or want attention. She does, however, believe that taking the risk of sharing their experiences is worthwhile. They may locate others who may offer advice, validate their experiences, or provide insights into the undersea facility and its studies by doing so. While the spouse may feel guilty for going against her husband's desires, she is motivated by a desire to learn the truth. She believes that telling their experience would spark a larger conversation, allowing them to piece together additional information and possibly find peace and guidance in their search for answers. The spouse is well aware of the skepticism that frequently surrounds such stories. She recognizes that stories of hidden facilities, mysterious encounters, and hidden realities might arouse skepticism and disbelief. She is nevertheless unwavering in her resolve to learn the truth about the hidden mysteries they have discovered. The spouse hopes that by sharing her tales and experiences, they may be able to identify others who have experienced similar events, motivated by a genuine desire for knowledge and understanding. She feels that by working together, they can piece together knowledge and insights that will shed light on the riddles they've experienced. The partner is aware of the importance of critical thinking and discernment in uncovering these hidden secrets. While she feels that some stories are false or overblown, she also believes that authentic accounts and proof exist. She seeks to discern fact from fiction by engaging in open dialogue and seeking validation from others who may have relevant expertise or experiences. The spouse intends to go deeper into the area of hidden secrets with an open mind and a willingness to explore alternative perspectives. She recognizes that this journey will be difficult and that the truth will not be readily acquired. Her hope, though, stays constant as she pursues the buried facts that lay under the surface.